Okay, welcome everyone. It's good to have you guys here joining us for the Hello Designer event that we really organized as part of our onboarding session for all intending product designer enthusiasts. And without wasting much of our time, I'm going to start my presentation so we can actually get it done with. Okay. So I think I've actually done the welcoming part. By the way, my name is Wills. Okay, my name is Wills, and by the end of the program, I will introduce myself more. But for now, my name is Wills, and I'm one of the lead instructors and also co-founder of Designgate. So at Designgate, we are basically trying to, help change the way training is being done right currently in Nigeria, especially when it relates to product design or anything that has to do with design entirely in the creative world. And yeah, so the name of the institution basically is Design Gate Academy. So the whole idea is like, if you want to venture into a particular field, there are gates. And here at Design Gates, you are highly welcome. And once you are here, we call it the gates of better days ahead. Because we know that once you start this journey and you are able to complete this journey, it's going to be a great one. It's going to change your career path and also your life, both in terms of fulfillment and also financially. So as time goes on, we'll still have time for questions and answers. Okay. So let's start with all of us here. So this section is what we call the young warlock. The young warlock. We're supposed to have some people more here. I don't know. I can't find any of the ladies that registered. Okay, so the young warlock. So almost every one of us here fall into the category of what we call the young warlock. Okay. So whenever you're trying to acquire a skill, this cuts across different spectrum of knowledge. So whenever you're trying to acquire a skill, there are different stages you are likely going to come across. The first one is what we call the unconscious competence. Are we together? So the unconscious competence. So what exactly is the unconscious competence? Now, this is that level whereby maybe an individual does not understand or know how to do something and does not necessarily recognize that they don't know how to do this particular thing. Okay? So that's what we refer to as the unconscious incompetence. A stage whereby you as an individual, you don't know how to do something, right? And you don't really understand that, okay, this is something you don't know how to do. So you are unable to actually fix whatever it is you need to know how to do, right? Or you might even say, I don't necessarily need this skill, right? But for every one of us here, I think we are not on this category because we've taken the first step it takes to acquire a skill and to gain mastery of anything. Okay. The worst stage is actually this stage whereby you don't even think it's what you need and you don't even take steps to start, acquiring the set skill. So we have taken the first step, which is awesome. Now, the second stage is what we call the conscious incompetence. Okay. Now, this individual does not understand or know how to do something, but they recognize the deficit and as well the value of the new skill. So they decide to start the learning process. And that is what conscious incompetence. So at this stage, a lot of us here are under this, we are under this umbrella called conscious competence. Now, by the end of this training, our goal is to help you go from conscious incompetence to the next stage, which we call the conscious incompetence. Sorry, conscious competence. I think it's a typo there. So we want to take you from the stage of your conscious incompetence to a stage of conscious competence. Now, what exactly is conscious competence? Okay. When we talk about conscious competence, we are talking about when we get to conscious competence, we are basically talking about a stage whereby you understand how to do something, although it might be breaking down into steps for you, but you really need a lot of conscious involvement to execute it. And this is exactly where you want to be in every journey. Whenever you are learning something, you want to move from conscious competence to from conscious incompetence to conscious competence. Remember, this training is just for 3 months, and by the time you're done with your 3 months, as you begin to process to progress in your career, you get to the stage where we call a conscious incompetence. Now, for some of us here, there is already a lot of skills that we know how to do under this level of unconscious competence. This is where you get to do things and things just work out for you. And that is when you know you've gotten to mastery. But right now, this training is to help you go from conscious incompetence to conscious competence. Are we together? So we are going from conscious incompetence to conscious competence. Now, the reason why we always start with this kind of intro is so that you have an idea of what you should be aiming for. Sometimes when people want to acquire new skill, especially when it has to do with creativity, in the creative sector, most people give themselves false hope by thinking, let's say you know nothing about graphics design, or you know nothing about videography, or you know nothing about any creative work, even to draw, you know nothing about drawing. A lot of people go into it thinking that by the time they finish learning in 3 months, they will become the best illustrator or artist in the whole world. And that kind of thinking and that kind of belief is what often leads people to feel like failures after they've gone through a particular training, and they now find out that after the whole training, I'm still not the best designer in the whole world, right? Instead of them to appreciate some of the little things they've picked up during that training. So the reason why we bring it, we usually tell people this, is so that you can set a goal that you know you can achieve, right? A goal you know you can achieve. So in this training, we are going to help you go from conscious incompetence, which is the level where you are now, to conscious competence. Now, there are people we don't mention, and these are people between conscious competence and unconscious competence, right? These are people that, in fact, the level we usually miss is people that are around unconscious competence and village people, right? As it relates to that particular field. So what do I mean by that? We don't really write it down because it's just something we come up with. Now, these are people that they know the skill, but somehow, because at the end of the day, everyone here is in for a better life. I'm not sure there's anyone here coming to learn this so that you can just put it in your bags. No, everybody here is trying to get a better life for themselves. Maybe if you are currently earning 100K, you want to be able to start earning 200K or 250K. If you are currently earning 500K, you want to probably start earning 600, 700K. If you are currently earning 1 million, you want to at least improve to like 1.2, 1.3, and that is why you are currently here. But there are people that they've gotten this, they've mastered this, but the growth is not coming. It starts looking as though they are, it's from village. So if you're also in that category, we are also here to help you out, okay? So at this point, we would like to know where exactly every one of us is on this journey to becoming a product designer. So I'm going to start with the first person here. That's Mr. Ato. Mr. Ato, you can unmute your mic. Tell us about yourself and why product design? Why did you decide to go for this training? Okay, we all have 2 minutes. Okay, Mr. Ato, go ahead. We really can't hear you, Mr. Ato. Okay, we can hear you now. I really can't hear you. I don't know. Okay, I can hear you now. Okay. Uh, okay. If you can hear Mr. Ato, can you just react with an emoji? Mm. Okay, Mr. Ato, I think I'll get back to you because I can't really hear you. We can't really hear you. So I'll just get back to you again. Oh, okay. Okay. I think the next person on the list is Mr. Ayodele. Okay, Mr. Ayodele, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Ayodele.
Yes, sir, you're welcome, sir. Well,
Yeah.
I am looking at product design because, especially in terms of the era of user experience, where you try to understand what people need, why people need these things, and I find it's very, very important for business. Is a way of understanding what people need and where the trend is going, and what you can do to either create, solve a problem or create a product that people can actually be interested in.
Yeah.
And consequently an opportunity to improve my own living standard, like you have mentioned.
Yeah. Okay, that's awesome. Okay, let's hear from Mr. NM.
Hello, good evening, everybody.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Okay, all right. So, basically, my reason for joining this class is first off to make myself accountable for this journey because I actually tried learning product design on my own, and I noticed that at every point I just fall out of it, and I just wanted something I would be accountable for, being in a community where every other person is learning and get inspired by what other people are doing in order to work better. So literally that's why I joined this class, and that's why I'm here.
Awesome. Jamila, can we hear from you? Jamila, are you there? Okay, I think Jamila it's not uh, open. It's not currently, maybe not close to his or her phone. Let's hear from John Adeshina. John Adeshina, are you here?
Yes.
Okay,
Good
awesome.
evening.
Yeah, evening, John.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Good, good evening. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. So my name is John Additional. So I'm an aspiring product manager. So I've been getting my hands on one or two on product designing and UI UX designing. But I just want to increase my knowledge and that's it. That's it.
Okay. Okay. Can we hear from Mr. Mandela Adewale? An interesting way to spell Mandela. Mr. Mandela, are you there? Okay. Okay. Mr. Mandela said, I'm on this journey because I want to improve my living standard, begin my financial journey. What else do we have here? Give my family a better life and get better in UI UX. That is an awesome motivation and reason to be here. Pelumi Olaiwola, can we hear from you?
Hello, hi, good evening, everyone. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, evening.
Yeah, my name is Pelumi I joined the first stream due to the passion
Yeah.
developing, becoming a front-end food developer. I had to still come into this stream because I was like, there's still a lot to learn. Because I have this aspiration, the passion to create digital products that solve human problem, and having a skills like product design is one of the goals like needs to achieve. So that is why I'm here once again.
Okay. Okay, you're welcome. Let's hear from Temi Tokbe. Temi Tokbe, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Good evening,
Let's
sir.
hear.
Good evening, sir.
Evening.
Nice to meet you.
You
I'm
too.
here for personal and career growth.
Okay.
I did UI UX about 2 years ago, but I didn't practice because I switched to another thing like cybersecurity, and along the line I found out that they are interrelated. So I'm here to upgrade myself. Thank you very much.
Awesome. So that's awesome, guys. So at least we've gotten to know ourselves to some extent, and also it's always good whenever you're trying to acquire a new skill or whenever you're trying to learn something new. It's always important you have a goal. Sometimes when you're trying to approach or acquire a new skill, if you if you approach it without a goal in mind, this is one of the things that often leads to people giving up or just leaving the whole thing and then jumping to another thing. So it's always important. That is why we try to make sure we are on the same page, to make sure that everybody has a goal that they're trying to reach. So what exactly is the mission for this training? You are here, and what is the mission? The mission is to become a product designer, right? The mission is to become a product designer. And what exactly is a product designer, or who exactly is a product designer? Well, we are still going to talk about all these things. We're just having like an overview, and we're going to discuss and we'll take the next step. Okay. So a product designer basically is responsible for the overall design and the user interface of a digital product. Now, before the internet, before mobile devices and all what have you, all this electronics, when you talk about product design, you refer to people that design physical products. Okay. So whenever you say product design, you are referring to people who design physical products. Think about the products like your phone. Think about products like a microphone. Think of products like bottles, right? People that design them, because they don't just fall out from thin air. People design them, right? People design these things before they are mass produced, right? So these are the people we refer to as what? Product designer. Although in Nigeria, most people call them industrial designer, right? So during the age of the beginning of the digital era, we now started having things like apps, okay? With the invention of iPhone, we started having things like apps. So people started designing products, right, for digital experiences. At first, people basically started designing what we already have in the real world and digitizing it. That's why if you take a look at the first apps that came out, you see things like dictionary. So we have physical dictionary. Some group of people decided to create a digital dictionary, which is still a product, right? And then we started seeing people that started designing products like maybe a recipe book. We started having notebooks, notepad. We started having calculators. So we started in this skeuomorphic kind of way. Apps started with this skeuomorphic kind of way, whereby we are basically replicating physical product we had in the real world, but in a digital platform. So we started having this kind of products for religious people. The Bible went digital. Everything started going digital. Everything we used in the real world started going digital. Hence, they also adopted the name product designers. Now, whenever you are designing products, sometimes if you are thinking of it in the digital way, you might actually miss out on a whole lot of things. whenever you are thinking of product, still remember to think of a product in the physical form. So let's say you want to design a product right now. Let's say you have some cash and you want to design a product. You find out that you won't just go to China and say, I want to do this. You won't do that. First, you've probably discovered a problem and you intended to do something about that problem. It could be that in an area where you stay, there are so many damp sewage, or the place is a little bit dirty, which now led to, excessive mosquito around that area. And you decided, you know what, let me create a mosquito net. Then you think about that mosquito net. How am I going to create it? What exactly am I going to do to ensure that this mosquito net is good? You probably think of, okay, you know what, let me just use like a wrapper to wrap around myself or to wrap around my bed. Once you do that, you discover that as you were sleeping, you were probably feeling lots of heat. You were probably sweating. And maybe during that time, as you were sweating, you decided, okay, you know what? Let me open some holes in this wrapper. Then you opened some holes and you discover that breeze is coming in. But then the mosquitoes are also coming in. What else do? You decided, okay, let me make the hole smaller in such a way that air could still come in, but it prevents the mosquito. Then eventually, you went ahead and did the same thing. Now, if you don't keep innovating, someone might come to your place and see that and be like, this is nice, but maybe the material you used was your most prized lace. And the person decided, you know what, I can actually redo this, but in a cheaper form factor. The person goes, instead of using materials that you get for 1 yard for like 6K, the person decides to go for mesh, like a net. And then the person innovates from there. And the person's own become even better than your own because it is cheaper and it is even better looking than yours. Right? Now, if that person fails to innovate, another person can still see that and think, this is just preventing these mosquitoes from coming. What if I create my own and I lace it with a kind of chemical that actually kills any mosquito that perches on it? That way, I don't have to deal with that particular mosquito ever again. Because if it goes and comes back, it will keep coming till the day you eventually sleep without the mosquito net, right? So the mosquito comes, then the person goes ahead, creates the same thing, add a little bit of chemical on that particular material, and at the end of the day, the mosquitoes start coming and they start perching on it and dying. You find out that it all started with a problem that you wanted to solve, right? Now, you could be the same person innovating over time, or it could be someone else innovating or some other groups innovating. Now, why did I use this particular scenario? Most of the time, when people finish learning product design, or when people decide to take up this task of learning product design, they kind of find it difficult to understand the aspect of people telling them that product design is problem solving, that is not just design, and there is this age-long argument in the product design and graphic design world, whereby people keep saying product design solves problem, whereas graphic design is just visual, which is not really true because both of them solves problem. If someone comes to you for a design, right? If someone comes for a graphic design project, they obviously want you to help them achieve a goal, right? And it's also problem solving, just that when it comes to product design, it is more intricate. And it's the fact that whatever you are doing must have a reason and a purpose, right? So basically, product designers are the ones in charge of designing whatever product it is, right? From the beginning till the end. Now, designing something from the beginning to the end simply means that you are kind of playing a God role, Okay, you're kind of playing a God role. Now, imagine God during the creation of the earth. Okay, God during the creation of the earth. The only way he could have known the future, or he could be able to tell you the future, is if he had already put things in place for every possible path you would likely take. Right? For instance, sometimes, have you ever imagined what if we had one finger? How you want to take chop? Right? The food you are going to eat is already there. All the processes, like I think I saw a comment one time on TikTok and it was very funny. And somehow I was just laughing. The person said, ever wondered why the earth doesn't get heavier? And he now said the answer is because everything we've ever done on earth came from earth. All the buildings, all the skyscrapers and everything, they all came from earth. So they were already existing on earth. Now, when you are a product designer, you are also playing a godlike role in the sense that you are able to anticipate every move and every part the user or is the scenario the user is likely going towards pass through. And one of the best ways you are able to anticipate this is to become the user yourself. Are we together? One of the ways we are able to anticipate what users are likely to do is to become the user. Now, am I saying you are going to anticipate all possible roles? The answer is no, because people use things differently. You can design an app for a very particular purpose, and then when you see people using it, you see them using it differently. Sometimes even the people that programmed Adobe After Effects, sometimes when they see what people are creating with After Effects, they are also in shock because they don't even know that they could do such a thing with that particular product. Are we together? But for the basic, at the core, you have to at least make sure that whatever it is you are building, you build out all possible parts. So this is where product design differ from graphic design or any other form of artistic work, right? Because a design, when we talk about product design, the design is not how it looks. Instead, the design is how it works. This is a famous quote by Steve Jobs, right? So design is not how it looks, but how it works. So once you start seeing design from the perspective of how it works and not how it looks, then you begin to understand what it means to be a product designer better. I hope we are picking one or two things. So the mission for this particular training is for us to become product designers. Some people even call themselves solution designers. Now, whatever it is you want to call yourself, the main issue is for you to be able to design a product, and that product is able to solve a particular problem. Are we together? It's able to is solve a particular problem. Now, when we keep saying this solving problem, it is not the kind of problem we see in, trying to put a man in space. It's not rocket science kind of problem. So it's not those kind of serious problem. It's not the kind of problem where you discover the cure to cancer, right? Instead, the kind of problem we are looking at is just the problem of fixing, of doing everyday things, right? You want to solve problems that people encounter daily in their daily lives, okay? It could be a lifestyle issue. It could be a process issue, a system issue. Maybe in an office, let's say you are a designer, a graphic designer, and then maybe in your office, you find out that there is no way of monitoring workflow of what happens within the printing period. You can now go ahead and design a solution to say, okay, for us to be able to monitor whatever is going on, to be more credible and to be more accountable, let's create a solution whereby when someone walks into the office and they say, I want to print so and so, with that solution, we type in what they print, and when it's done, we can now issue them receipts from there. So we are able to tackle and take note of whatever is going on. So sometimes it is just a process, automating a process. That is a product. It could be in terms of lifestyle. You could discover that, oh, this particular group of people, They don't have like a community. And you said, you know what, I'm going to build a product to bring community to these people. Okay, it could be that in a school, there is no easy way for them to manage the student, the teachers, the subject, the school, running the school basically. And you said, okay, you know what, let's create a product to solve this problem. So these are the problems we solve as product designers. Most of our the problems we solve are basically mobile and web apps, and also websites. Mobile and web apps and websites. These are the kind of platforms we use to solve some of these problems. So don't overthink it, because sometimes people overthink these things and it gets really complicated very fast. Are we together? At this point, I'm just going to use like 2 minutes. So if you have any question so far, just raise up your hand, then I'll bring you up. Any question? Okay, tell me, Tokwe, go ahead.
Okay. Is it mandatory for a UI UX designer to know coding?
Okay, that's a good question. So it's 2024. It's 2024 right now. Okay, so one thing in life is if you don't upgrade, you might lose out on a lot of things. Now, the quick answer to that question, like you said, is it mandatory? The answer is no. Like I said, a product design, when we talk of the design inside that product, it is how it works. It is not making it work. It is how it works. And also it's not how it looks. So the answer is no. You don't need to know coding to be a product designer. Knowing coding is just an addition, right? And like I said, it's 2024. There are a lot of things. Once you're a product designer, there are a lot of tools out there that you can actually use to move your design to a functional app without necessarily knowing how to code. But remember, it's a journey. If in your journey, you decide that you want to take up front-end development or back-end development, it is a great plus. And at that stage, you might not be a product designer anymore. You might just call yourself a product engineer, right? That means you can design and you can make what you've designed to work. It only increases your prospects, because companies, at the end of the day, companies keeps looking for cheap labor, right? So if you are like a designer who can code, and there is another designer who cannot code, there's likelihood of them giving you the job, because they want to make sure it's easy for them. They get the cheapest labor as possible. But oftentimes, when people are looking for product designers, they are necessarily not looking for people who can code. It is only in few cases, right? So, but you know, this is just 3 months. You can, within the span of 1 year, you can do a lot of things. I personally, aside product design, right, I do web design with WordPress. I do web design with Webflow. I do web design with Framer, right? Last year, I did customer service. I did a customer service program, because I really have passion when it comes to customer service, when it comes to, you know, discussing with customers. And aside that, I work with Cinema 4D, which is a 3D app, right, in creating maybe 3D assets for my design. I also know a little bit of After Effects, Premiere Pro. Now, all these things I'm saying, I didn't learn them in 3 months, right? In fact, my journey basically started, I started as I think almost a lot of people have the same story. I started as a cyber cafe attendant, where you come in, I give you your time. You remember that time where people, they go cyber cafe, go do internet. I give you your time, you know, you pay, and watch you before you go and start downloading what we don't know. And then our small cyber cafe business will now fall because of you. with your 200 naira 1 hour when you buy. So from there, I picked interest in PowerPoint, right? I was also typing in the business center, but I noticed that when people come to type, they type 100 naira. But when they want to do presentation, they are willing to pay 2K for you to do like a PowerPoint show of like maybe 10 slides. Meanwhile, I will type in Microsoft Word and you pay 100 naira. So I learned PowerPoint, and during PowerPoint, I started seeing flyers, and I was like, I'm not sure if this PowerPoint they're using doing flyer. Someone I asked around, they said CorelDRAW. I learned CorelDRAW. I kept going until, Nigerians decided to start paying graphic designers 10,000 and 20,000 for flyers. Then I now heard about, web design. Then I started learning WordPress. So it's gradual. It's like it's just like a path. But you need to also understand that when people say they are looking for a graphic designer, they are not saying they are looking for a product designer. So it's all differs. But if you can acquire this skill along the line, it is awesome. But the simple answer to that question is no. You don't need to know how to code. Okay? Okay, any other question?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other question? Okay, so no other question. So let's proceed. Okay, Ayodele, let's hear from you.
Yeah, I saw it somewhere that somebody wrote that it's a great advantage if you are a product designer and you understand the HTML, CSS. Is it true?
Yes, I just said so. It's true, but
Okay.
it's not compulsory.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes, it only helps you in communicating well with designers. And like I said, in some places, they might actually want you to be able to design and also code what you've designed. So that's where it becomes something. Okay. Now, let's move to the next one. We're almost done. So a glimpse into the future. Now, it's always important, anytime you are trying to acquire a skill, okay? Anytime you are trying to acquire a skill, it's always important to not just checking curriculum, okay? Or not just going to register for a course. You want to know how the job market is currently doing. And what is it that people are looking for in that specific field? Okay. Now we are going to do this together. Okay. I'm just going to open a new tab here, and we are going to search for UI UX product design entry level role. Okay. Let me just put vacancy at the front. So it's very important you do this. No matter what you are learning, it's very important you do this. If you want to even go into front-end development, do this. You want to know exactly what are people looking for so that you can use it to benchmark whatever it is you are currently learning. So I'm not going to open a lot of them. I'm just going to open one or two. Okay. Let's take a look at this one. Allow. Okay. So, okay, this is like a job board. I thought it was direct. So let me open this one, UI UX design in 10. And of course, you don't want to click on senior UI UX designer. This one basically comes with idea in leadership and the rest of them. So let's open this one. What's this? I think that they post like this. Which kind of while is this? Okay, let me just close this instead of wasting time here. I think it's a job board. It's not like, okay, good. Okay, so let's see this one. UI UX designer, remote, product designer, Zap Africa. Okay, and UI UX designer. Let's take a look at these three. So this one, they are based in Port Harcourt, and you can see what the list salary. Actually, in Nigeria, the list salary for an entry-level product designer is 150,000. But if you're an intern, you might be given 80K, right? But once you get to intermediate, you are looking at 350 upwards. That's in Nigeria. Okay. If you eventually get a job with a foreign company, or if you decide to do freelance, you can actually earn more. But like I said, always set your goal well. Okay. Set your goal. Some of you want to do remote job. You don't even have a dome account. How God won't take answer that kind of prayer? Some of you want to travel abroad, you know, get international passport. So it's always little by little, okay? So if you know you want to actually, by the time you are done, you really want to start applying for international job, from now, start making those plans. Get a dome account, because they can't pay you direct from abroad. If you know you are going to be doing freelancing on platforms like Upwork, or even, you know, shilling yourself on Twitter to get jobs from foreign companies so you can earn more, tomorrow or any other day you have chance, go and get the dome account first. So that, because one thing with opportunity is, if it comes and you are not ready, it goes, and it's difficult to come by again. Okay, so you don't want a situation whereby you said, I want to work with foreign companies, now the job don't come, but I don't know how to collect money. It's at that point you want to start going to look for PayPal that doesn't work in Nigeria. Okay, so, but in Nigeria, which is where you are, sometimes you have to look within. For entry-level roles, I always tell people, once you finish, for entry-level roles, try within Nigeria. Foreign companies will hardly give you an entry-level role with no experience, right? Foreign companies are always looking for people with some experience, right? So even if you finish this training, you can just look around yourself. Even if there is no, you know, there's no quick job you could do around within yourself, check if your church has a website. If they don't have a website, pitch it to them, design it for them, get that experience. Once you have your experience, maybe 1 or 2 real jobs, then it is easier for you to now get, you know, a foreign job. So some of the criteria for getting foreign jobs is some experience and some university certificates. If you don't have a university certificate, it might be a little bit tougher. That's for entry level, right? But who knows, if you are really doing great designs and posting out there, then certificate really doesn't matter, right? So the only reason most people require this certificate is just for communication. They want to know that you understand how to speak maybe English to some particular level. It's not like they're looking at what did you study. Okay, so it's communication, because what we do mostly in product design is communication, right? 70% communication. Okay, so let's take a look at this particular one, UI UX designer remote. And I'm sure by now you're asking yourself, what exactly is the difference between product design and UI UX design? That we'll take a look at next time. So let's take a look at what they are really requiring from you. So we are looking for a UI UX designer who will be responsible for designing and improving the user interface and user experience of digital products such as website, mobile apps, and software application. I think this is an agency. I'll get to that very soon, Temitope. So some of the responsibilities you are going to be doing is what? Collect and evaluate user requirements with the help of product managers and engineers. So take note of these things. Use storyboards, process flows, and sitemaps to illustrate design concepts. Now you can see that they didn't mention one particular thing and say it must be that one. Instead, you can use storyboards, process flows, sitemaps to illustrate what? The concept of the design. Menu, tabs, and widget are examples of graphic design interface element. I think this will just copy this thing from ChatGPT or something. So create UI mockups and prototypes that clearly shows how site work can look. Make unique graphic design. Rough drafts should be prepared and presented. Now you can see where communication comes in. It should be presented to internal team and key stakeholders. Identify and resolve UX issues. Make layout changes based on user feedback. Very important. Follow font, color, and image style guideline. Blah blah blah. Now you can always check all these things. Okay, no need for the qualification. Forget all this qualification. So here they are saying basic HTML5, CSS, and JavaScript. Like you can see, they said is what? A plus, but it's not the main thing they are looking at. Rather, it is what? A plus. Let me zoom in so we can see it together. You can see it is just what? A plus, not necessarily. So what else are we looking at here? Let's take a look at this one. So this is from Zap Africa. 200 and I think these particular people, they are looking for like intermediates, right? And yes, within 3 months, you can actually get to intermediate. That's the truth. Okay. So 250 to 300K. So let's scroll down and see exactly what it entails. What you do, design strategy and vision. So understand the broader business strategy to create intuitive and efficient user interface. So this is one thing that always get people confused. Okay. So the only time you are likely going to see this more often is when we always talk of what product designer. Okay, product designer. Yes, as a UI UX designer, you can also, there's also something called UX strategy. But anytime you are dealing with business strategy, that is when we now start diving into product design, although people still use it what interchangeably. So you should be able to do what create user-centered design, prototyping, cross-functional collaboration, again, communication. Whenever you see cross-functional collaboration, we are talking about what? Communication. Okay. Then design systems, marketing, content, deliverables, feedback and iteration, staying updated. Okay. Now you can see some of the requirements that are needed to become a product designer or to get a job as a product designer. So on your own, as you are going through this training, you need to be able to assess yourself based on some of these requirements, right? Probably if you look at this one now, you ask yourself, what do they mean by this? And they said, understand, brother, do I know this? Can I do this? Am I able to do something like this? If your answer is no, in the next 2 months, you should be able to ask yourself this question again. How far am I able to do something like this? Because it's when you know you can do some of these things that you have that confidence it takes to actually get a job. Most of the time, when you submit applications without confidence, the job won't even come. Right? I don't know if some of you have experienced a situation whereby you are doing something and because you've not finished that particular thing, another opportunity doesn't come. But immediately you finish that, extra opportunities comes in. It's sometimes like that, you know. In the game of life, there's always one weird thing. So that's basically a glimpse of the future we just looked into. We've seen what what is required for you to be like a product designer or for you to take up this job as a product designer. So what are the things you need to actually become this product designer? Let's take a look at the armor. So the armor is basically the tool sets. Okay, the toolkit you need to really say, okay, I am a product designer. And there are majorly three main things. One is learning how to conduct and synthesize user research. As a product designer or as a UI UX designer, you are going to be doing a lot of research. You are going to be conducting a lot of part of your job. In fact, half of your job will be discussing with prospects or with users. So communication is very, very key. Again, communication is very, very key. Your ability to articulate your thoughts and also ask the right questions at the right time is very, very important. So, like I said, one of the things you need is your ability to conduct and synthesize research. Now, when we say synthesize research, it's not a boogie something. It's not difficult. It's basically your ability to observe, okay? Your ability to observe, discern, and write down your insights. Are we getting it? For instance, a lot of us here will be coming in from different fields. Some of us here probably studied chemistry in school. Some of us studied medicine. Some of us stopped at SSCE. Some of us did computer science. Some of us, waiting we even study, we don't know. You know, there are some courses like that. Some of us, waiting we study, we don't know. But when you become a designer, a product designer, you are expected to be more of a generalist, right? Now imagine you studied mass comm and then you are being contacted to design a product for a hospital to manage their appointments. Are you a doctor? The answer is no. Have you worked in a hospital before? The answer is no. So how do you even know what to design? That is where research comes in. You go, you ask the doctors, can you walk me through your process? Or you ask whoever is in charge, okay, what is the process of what? Booking an appointment, the current process of booking a consultation with the doctor. They will now tell you something like, okay, to book a consultation with the doctor, what people normally do right now is they come to the hospital, they meet the cashier asks them, okay, what do you want to do? They say that, okay, I want to book a consultation with the doctor. And the cashier said, okay. And the cashier goes through and see if the doctor is available, right? In some cases, the cashier can just make a call and ask doctor, please, are you free now? Someone wants to, see you. And the doctor will say, okay, I'm free, or I'm not free. If the doctor says I'm free, what next? You find out they might say, okay, when the doctor says he's free, they now say, okay, you have to register or you have to pay for so and so, and it costs so and so, right? Maybe it costs 5,000 naira, and then the person pays, and they will say, okay, give me your name, give me your phone number. And by the time they finish paying and registering the person's name and phone number, they will now tell the person, okay, you can wait. The doctor is waiting to see you in room 3 or room 2 or room 5. That is the process. That is the current flow of booking that appointment. Now, when you are stepping in as a product designer to design a product that can do that, is for you to understand the entire flow. First, the user comes in, makes inquiry. The person they are making the inquiry from confirm the availability of the doctor. If the doctor is available, they go ahead to ask them to register. Now, in registering, they require some certain information from the user. And this information includes things like name, the person's email, the person's phone number. And once they've registered it, they proceed to ask the person to pay. And once the person pays, they approve the consultation. So with this knowledge, you know that, okay, what I'm going to be designing, I will need the first interface, because there's obviously not going to be a secretary on your website, right? You need an interface that welcomes the person, that says, okay, welcome to so and so. For booking and consultation, click here. The person will now click on what? Consultation. Now, immediately the person clicks on consultation, it could be like a calendar that checks the availability of the doctors, right? Remember, we said product design is how it works, not really how it looks at this point. Now, from the availability of the doctor, if there's any doctor available, you can now tell them, okay, to now fill in their form. Now, how do you know exactly the information they are to fill in? You are getting it from the secretary, because they already have the said information they need from people. You now get it, you create the form, right? In this case, you can call those people the stakeholders. You create the form using the information they are going to give you. And then this person enters the form. Immediately they enter the form, before the appointment is confirmed, what's the next thing? They have to make payments. So you design a payment screen. Then they make the payments. And once they make the payment, they can now tell them, okay, your appointment has been confirmed for so dates, and it will be with so doctor in so room. Print out your receipt. Now you can see how you've been able to digitize that particular steps into what? A digital product, right? So this is basically what comes in from research. Okay, sometimes you're also researching users to understand how users feel. Okay, example of understanding users, I always give this example. Imagine you are called in to design like a fintech solution for people staying in the village, for a particular community, and then you didn't even go to that community. You also didn't ask questions about community, didn't even take time to meet people from that community, and you went ahead to design something like Cash App, or you design something like OPay, a digital app that they can download on Play Store or App Store, and then send and receive money. Only for you, after production or after your entire design, to realize that these people we are building this product for, they don't have access to the internet. Okay, you find out that everything you've designed basically is a failure, because these people you are designing for, they can't use it. Are you getting it? So this is actually the aspect where user research comes into play. You just want to understand those users. Although it's 2024, there have been a lot of research that has been done. So most of the time, if it is not a specific use case, a particular specific scenario that is very unique, you might not really need to do so many user research to start, right? What most people do now is they go with hypothesis. They get a problem, they present a hypothesis, they design it. As they design it, they make sure that the product is now in the hands of real users. Now, from those real users, they start getting feedback and start improving or iterating on the product based on the user feedback. That is how a lot of product companies operate in 2024. It's only in some rare cases, for instance, as when Apple was trying to or planning to launch the Vision OS, they probably did like user experience design from scratch, because this is a new product and they are trying to consider what's the best way for people to use this product. Should they use hand gestures? Should they use eye tracking, right? So they did a lot of research until they came up with that solution. Okay, but if it is not a product that's unique, you might not necessarily need to, invest so much at the onset, because there are a lot of products you could learn from. So that is user research. The next thing is your ability to ideate, design, and also prototype your idea. So whenever there is a problem, whenever you've understood the problem, there might be different types of solution for that specific problem. It must not be one specific product. Okay. Now, once you ideate, you are now able to now design it. Once you've chosen the kind of solution you want to build, like I said, there are different types of solution. For instance, for a problem like okay, let me not go far because we just have about 24 minutes, then we are off. It's just 6 to 7:30 for today. Okay, so you should be able to ideate, design, and prototype your idea. Now, once you're able to do this, the next thing you want to be able to know is how to test your design, the flows, and improve user experience. Now, some of the tools we are going to be covering includes Figma. So we're going to be using Figma to do this. For our research, it's 2024. We're going to involve AI, but we're not handing over everything to AI. We are still going to do the traditional research method and see how to blend it with AI. Okay. Now, with AI is very, very good at analysis. Okay, and also crunching large data sets. So we're going to be using AI for that. And then we also have Miro here. We're going to be using Miro to do our wireframing. Okay, so there are a lot of other tools. Okay, there are a lot of other tools. Now, when it comes to testing and improving user experience, we are going to be using Hotjar, but we are also going to merge it with Maze. But there are a lot of tools out there. Okay, there are a lot of tools out there that can be used for monitoring all these things. Now, when we say monitoring a particular user experience to improve it, it is not rocket science. So I'm just going to show you guys an example. Okay, so you understand what it means by designing a user experience. I'm trying to get a screen now. Okay. Okay, so I'm trying to get a screen. Now, I just want to show you an interface of what's wrong with this. What's the organization? Okay. So I'm trying to open an app now. Okay. Now, any any website you visit, okay? Any website you visit in today's world, especially any website that means business, any website you visit or any app you download is tracking whatever you are doing. 99% of apps, they are tracking what you are doing. And they track this using what you call cookie. Okay. Have you ever visited a website and they said you need to accept cookie? Okay. Now, what exactly is this cookie? Cookie basically is a piece of technology that is able to record whatever you are doing on that particular website. Anything you click on, anywhere you move to, right? It's able to detect it and then save it. Now, for every one of us here that uses an iPhone or even an Android phone, Google has an ID attached to you. On any website you visit, they know exactly what you are doing, what you are clicking, what you are buying. Some of you, have you ever mentioned something? Maybe you said, Domino's, they hungry me. You enter pizza, you started seeing Domino's everywhere. Now, that is also part of what improving your user experience when it comes to ads, okay? Because they don't want to show you ads that doesn't relate to you, okay? I don't know, screen record. I don't know if it's screen recording, but I think this video is available on our YouTube channel, so you can always rewatch it. But let's take a look at what I'm trying to show you. Now, this app, this is called Hotjar. Now, there are a lot of other apps you can use for this. Another very quick one you could use is something called Useberry, okay? Useberry is another one, okay? There are a lot of them. But we are going to be using Hotjar. Now, when you learn one, you can always translate your knowledge from that one to another one. There's also Microsoft Clarity. So there are basically a whole lot of them, but we are going to be using Hotjar for this. Now, what does this thing help you do? It helps you understand users. So when we keep saying understand users or getting feedback from users, it's app like this that can help you understand users by basically what? Sometimes, how do you know that users are having problem on your website? You could actually find out by watching exactly what users are doing. So this app, they record whatever people are doing. You can see right now, if I click on play, I'm going to see exactly how this person accessed this particular website and everything they did on that website. You can see that I have a summary that they did 6 clicks. They clicked on 6 parts. They entered like 3 text inputs, no rage clicked. They filled 1 survey form. Okay. Now, it's from seeing some of these actions using softwares like this that you begin to get insights as to what a problem is on your website. Now, let's assume it's an e-commerce website, and you notice that, or maybe someone asks you to design a website to help them sell their ebook. Okay. And then after designing the website, you find out that it's been 2 weeks, people are not registering or people are not buying the ebook. You can now come here and watch this particular video, because you are going to see it's not just one, there are a whole lot. Companies that have the softwares on their system they have recordings of almost all the users that visited. Are you getting it? And then by watching from them, they are able to see, oh, maybe this person is not actually seeing where this button is, or they had a little confusion there, so they were not able to click. By that time, you are now able to monitor and see what exactly the problem is. Okay, if you notice that people are clicking where they are not supposed to be clicking, you will now find out that, oh, there is an issue here, and then you go and fix it. Now, the art of knowing what is going on the website, how people are using the website, where they're having challenges based on your observation, and fixing it is what you call user experience design. Okay, that's what you call user experience design. Maybe you've seen that a lot of people come in, they are not seeing a particular field. Just like on Designgate. On Designgate, you notice that when you visit the website and you're about to leave, it's going to bring out a form to ask you some simple questions like, why didn't you register? Right? That's if you did not register, it's going to ask you, why didn't you register? Now, for people that filled out the form, when we read their feedback, based on the form, we got insights as to what to do to make the site better. That is basically user experience work design. It's the process of making sure your product delights users to what use, and also it helps your users to accomplish the task they came for easily. Are we together? So we'll be taking a look at how to use softwares like this during the course of this training. And like I said, there are a lot of them. You could use Berry, you could use Microsoft Clarity, you can use Maze. And whatever you are learning in this class, you can also apply it to physical product if you want to do physical products. Okay, so we just have a few minutes more. Let's continue. So the timeline, what is the training schedule like? I think this is the main cocoa. What is the training schedule like? So we've designed this training to suit an extreme novice. Okay, an extreme novice. We started with very easy, simple layouts. So for the first month of your training, you are going to be designing our legendary Spendy app. It's a very simple app, nothing confusing, nothing extraordinary, right? The goal instead is what you should be looking at. Okay, the goal is what you should be looking at, not necessarily the app. Now, one of the ways to master anything is to form habits. Are we together? One of the ways to master anything is to form habits. The best way to form habits is repetition. And the best way to repeat something is to set realistic goals. Okay? The best way to master something is to form habits. The best way to form habits is repetition. The best way to repeat things is to do things that are easy, not doing things that are difficult. So, the first month, it is also said that whatever you do for 21 days, it becomes a habit. That's if you do it consistently. So, for the first month, we'll be designing a very basic app, nothing serious, no serious design. In fact, the app might have a lot of flaws. Why are we trying to do that? We don't want to design something extra advanced, because we understand that a lot of you that will be taking this class might just be venturing into product design or even design as a whole for the first time. So you are going to be doing this basic design for the first 1 month, and they are actually very short. From the beginning, they are very, very short. Now, the reason why we did it that way is we expect you to do the design every day. Every day when you log into your portal, you will see the design for that day. Okay? They are all in the list. You see the design for that day. So day 1, you have something to do. Day 2, you have something to do. Day 3, you have something to do. Day 4, you have something to do. Like I said, the essence of this first 1 month is not for you to become a badass designer. Please make sure you understand the goal. The essence for the first 1 month is for you to form a habit of designing. Whether it is good design or bad design, just start designing first. Over time, you start getting better designs. But that doesn't mean we are going to teach you bad design, okay? So 2 things for the first month, two goals for the first month. We are going to help you form a habit of designing by just designing basic, simple things. Although as you progress, the video durations increase. Let me tell you guys the truth. So we want to get you into the habit of designing and also mastering Figma interface, because product design and everything design is like beauty. Yes, people design is more about what you have, the way you think, what kind of solution are you coming up with. But If you can't put out a good looking UI, nobody will come close to you. So people want to see good UI. And one of the things that can stop you from achieving your result, because at the end of the day, it's creativity. To be able to become creative, the first thing you need to learn is how to create. You can't be creative in this field if you don't know how to create. So before you start saying you want to be, you want to learn how to be creative and the rest, learn how to create first. If not, no matter what you think, no matter what you picture in your head, your execution will always be bad and it will no longer be nice. Remember, what we are doing is highly visual, but also highly strategic. Okay, so we want to make sure that within this 1 month, you are comfortable enough using Figma. Okay, you are comfortable enough using Figma. And during this period, we'll take a look at things like introduction to product design, okay, platforms and technologies, UI principles, revision, product design challenges, UI design libraries, case studies, bi-weekly assessments, and a lot of things. So our classes are basically divided into the practicals, the reading, the live session, and the daily task. I get it. Now in month 1, like I said, we are doing the Figma. We want to form a habit of designing and also knowing how to do a lot of basic things and basic concepts right in Figma. Okay, and don't forget, aside the daily task, every Wednesday we'll be meeting by 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Wednesdays. Now the 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Wednesdays, we normally use it for revision. So whatever it is you've done, we'll use it for what? Revision. Then on Saturday, we introduce new topic and discuss new theories. Okay, and you continue with your daily task for that first month. Now in the second month, that is where we begin to do things like how to conduct research. When do you conduct research? How to monitor user experiences, how to what? Improve user experiences, understanding businesses and their strategies. But while we are also doing this, because some of these things, they are theory and some practicals, but while we are doing this, we introduce you to what we call our UI challenge. Okay, we do UI challenge. Now the UI challenge part, based on how comfortable you are now on Figma, we begin to show you things. Sometimes we might give you a wireframe and ask you to bring that wireframe to life. We might give you a design and ask you to find the issue with this design and fix it. We might give you a design, or we might give you a business that have bad design and ask you to improve on their design. That is what we are going to be doing in the second month. Remember, this part we are also learning together. Now, in the third month, we are going to pick one problem, okay, or one product, and we'll go from end to end. That means we'll design it from beginning till the end, or just catering for the basic flows, right? It is in this third month that we will now take a look at things like design systems or UI libraries. Okay, now that is basically what we'll be doing. Now, immediately after these 3 months, in fact, before the 3 months, at the end of the second month, you should have a mini portfolio. We are going to help you publish your first mini portfolio, because it is believed that immediately after the second month, you should have a good understanding to start getting jobs. Okay, you should start putting yourself out there to start getting jobs, right? And the good thing is, if you get job while you are doing this training, we'll still put you through to make sure you complete that job and gain that experience. So at the end of stream 2, you have your mini portfolio. And then with stream 3, once we've done this, the last project for the 3 months, you also put that project on your portfolio. That completes the 3 months training. Now, after this 3 months training, to now solidify what you've learned, we will give you 2 projects, which we call the capstone project. And you have up to 2 months to complete this project. Because why 2 months? We feel like some of you that time might even have something doing. Okay, so we don't want to give you unrealistic timeline. Okay, so you have up to 2 months, and it's not like you are building the entire solution. Whatever it is you are building will be the basic flows it needs to work, the solution needs to work. So you have up to 2 months. Okay, but after 3 months you can get your certificate, you can start applying for jobs, you can, you know, while you are now working on your capstone project. At the end of your capstone project, we will now help you, you know, publish your we'll teach you. If you want to use Webflow, we'll teach you Webflow. If you want to use Framer, we'll show you how to go about it. If you want to use WordPress, we'll show you how to go about it, so you can build out your portfolio by yourself. Okay, and once you are done with your 2 months project, that is it. Once you are done with your 2 months project and you have your portfolio, we have partnership with Job Primer. So if you intend for you to be, you know, looking out for jobs while we are also helping you search for jobs, so there's a form you get to fill, and we add you to the Job Primer pool. It has some terms and conditions, right? But you don't want to drop your egg in one basket, right? So that's the advantage of also using the Job Primer talent pool. You don't know where something good will just come from. Okay, so that is basically the entire flow of how the training is going to run. At this point, let me take some question and answer. Also, our training, so please, if you have not joined the Telegram channel, make sure you join. And we are going to start accepting you guys on WhatsApp now, because the WhatsApp is kind of locked. So if you have not joined the Telegram channel, please join. So this week, we are going to be dropping a link. I think it should be on Wednesday, either Wednesday or Thursday. We are going to be dropping a link. Please make sure you click on that link, and then that link is going to take you to the portal where you register on the portal. Okay, that link is going to take you to the portal. So what we've done now is just registration. Okay, but on the portal where the class is going to be done itself, we are going to be sending you a link by Wednesday where you'll be doing the portal registration. And then on Sunday, same time by 6 p.m., that's Sunday next week, the training will officially start. So immediately after Sunday's introduction, so Sunday we are covering introduction to product design, right? Immediately after that, on Monday, when you log in, you get access to your daily task. So you're expected to do them daily. Now, so you're doing them daily, you are not going to be submitting, but you're going to be putting it. It's going to be in your Figma file. Okay, so during this week we are doing 2 types of registration. We are doing the portal registration, and you are also going to be joining the Figma file for the team. But aside that, your daily challenge, your daily task, you are going to be doing it on your own Figma file. Okay, so 2 things we are going to be doing at this stage. I think I'm done with my presentation, so let's just go to the open arena and take questions and answers. So here, this is where we give you portion to any problem you might still be having concerning this training. Okay, so at this point, please, if you have any issue, any question, please raise up your hand so I can ask. I can call you up so we can take a look at them. Okay, Mr. Ato, go ahead. Go ahead, Mr. Ato. Mr. Ato, you raised up your hand, but I can't hear you. Okay, I can hear you now. Go ahead. Your line is breaking. Just type it. Use the chat. Type it inside the chat. So type it inside the chat. If you can't speak, just type it inside the chat. We still have like 2 minutes more. Please, if you have any questions or any concerns or any complaint, please go ahead, raise up your hand so that we can clarify it now. So like I said, by Wednesday or Thursday, you're going to receive 2 links. So on Telegram and also on WhatsApp. Also, if you didn't receive our SMS yesterday, let me know, because sometimes we send SMS to keep in touch with students. And yes, sometimes if we also notice that you are not completing your activity, we also call. Maybe you don't register. We they call. We they do like a gym coach. Have you ever registered in a gym before and you decided not to go? The way those coaches, they call you. So sometimes we call, okay? And so that's why if we call, sometimes we also send SMS. Okay, you didn't receive this thing. Okay, to join the Telegram group, once you register, you should see the Telegram link, okay? But if you're unable to join the Telegram group, just join the WhatsApp. But if you didn't join any of them, go to our website, just click on the chat on WhatsApp and send a message to admin, okay? You can just send a message with your payment receipt so that, yes, we are not embarking on any task this week because this week is just today, we basically started it, so we onboarded it. Now you have expectation. Now you know exactly what is expected. And I actually forget, to be very successful in this training, please, you must invest at least 2 hours every day, except for Sundays. Sundays you rest. Okay, so 2 hours. So what we want you to do is within this week, make preparation, start making up your mind, okay? Are we supposed to be on both WhatsApp and Telegram group? Not really. You can be on WhatsApp or you can be on Telegram. The same information will be dropped in both group. The reason why we were exclusively using Telegram, but we noticed that some people preferred WhatsApp, so we opened WhatsApp as well. So the same information will be dropping on both. So you can be on either Telegram or WhatsApp, whichever one you think is easiest for you to, always reach out and ask questions when necessary. Okay. Okay. So since there are no other questions, so like I said, if you didn't receive SMS from us or if you have not joined any of the group, just go to the page, go to the web page, to our website. That's designgate.academy. Okay. Click on the chat, the WhatsApp chat there, and send a message to admin with your payment receipts. I think Paystack should be able to send you a receipt. Just send a screenshot so that we can add you to the group. Okay, thank you guys for attending. I hope to pick 1 or 2 things from today's class. Okay, okay. Yes, you can always join with both your phone and your system at the same time. Okay. Thank you guys for joining. It's really awesome having you guys here. And I can promise you guys it's going to be the best profitable 3 months investment you'll ever do. We'll make sure that you have a great experience while learning and improving your skill and also prospect. Okay. From my end is a good night and have a great weekend. Bye-bye.